coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. The lobby of the Cypress Regional Hospital in Swift Current was command central for the annual PharmaSave Radiothon for healthcare. Saskatchewan continues to have the highest youth smoking rate in the country. According to the Canadian Tobacco, Alcohol and Drugs Survey, 22% of Saskatchewan teens are smoking, compared to 8% nationally. And now that we're into November, Environment Canada is calling for mild conditions to make an occasional appearance as we approach the winter season. Thanks for joining us here today. Fundraising for local health care was the focus of an annual event in Swift Current. We have more in today's top story. The lobby of the Cypress Regional Hospital in Swift Current was command central for the annual PharmaSave Radiothon for healthcare. Over the two-day period, volunteers were busy taking donations by telephone and in person in support of the fundraiser for the Dr. Noble Irwin Regional Healthcare Foundation.
We're gathering money to put a new mobile digital x-ray system here at Cypress Regional Hospital. And I talked about this earlier on air. Every year our Radiothon goes to Cypress Regional, and our goal is to keep the regional hospital as strong as possible. And this piece of equipment certainly helps us to do that. Today we're shooting for a goal of $150,000, and that should just about cover the cost of the equipment that's coming in, and the bells and whistles that come with it. So we're quite excited that we'll get to our goal of $150,000, and with any kind of luck have this piece of equipment servicing the community by the end of this year.
An annual fundraising event which the Dr. Noble Irwin Regional Healthcare Foundation relies on each year, not only to raise funds for medical equipment, but to keep the foundation's work top of mind.
Yes, we hope so. Certainly our goal is to gather funds so we can help to keep the healthcare strong in Swift Current and the surrounding areas, and so hopefully the community comes along, and they certainly have. Over 19 years. It's over $16 million that we've managed to collect, and so they've certainly come along for the ride, and we appreciate it, and this is one more opportunity to do that.
The PharmaSave Radiothon for healthcare raised over $171,000 in support of the Dr. Noble Irwin Regional Healthcare Foundation. Saskatchewan teens are smoking 3 times higher than the national average, and that continues to be a concern for the Canadian Cancer Society. Saskatchewan continues to have the highest youth smoking rate in the country. According to the Canadian Tobacco, Alcohol and Drugs Survey, 22% of Saskatchewan teens are smoking, compared to 8% nationally. And with vaping and flavored tobacco used by many youth, the Canadian Cancer Society and other agencies continue to lobby the provincial government to take action.
Governments across Canada have adopted legislation that goes far and beyond those measures that have banned flavored tobacco and menthol products, which are extremely popular among kids. 29% of kids are using menthol versus 5% of adults. That's a big problem, and we would like to see menthol banned.
She adds that tobacco is the leading cause of numerous cancers and other illnesses, and the sooner an individual kicks the habit, the better.
Tobacco is responsible for 30% of all cancers. It is the number one preventable cause of sickness and death, and probably the single most important thing you can do for your health.
More information on the latest tobacco survey and other cancer-related topics are available through the Canadian Cancer Society.
My name's Karen Holden. I am a visual artist. I work in oil. I'm from Humboldt, and I'm represented by the Slate Gallery in Regina. We live in an acreage, and it's beautiful rolling hills, big prairie. So between that and the drama of the skies, you know, the reflective ponds, that's pretty much where I get my inspiration. I was going for a long walk one evening, and it was just at sunset, and we call it the magical hour because everything is bathed in that orange light. And so I just sat and looked, and I thought, I got to paint this. So, and you know, with the big sky and the vast prairie. So that's how that one came about. And I felt like, you know, it's such a big, beautiful area that I'm going to make it a big painting. I took photo, I sat with it, I looked at it, and I have walked that path many times and seen that scene. So I thought, okay, it's time to paint it. So yes, I sketch it, and then I take photographs, and I work from that over time. And this one I probably spent, I did it over a couple of years. I really like oil. It's fluid, it's rich. The pigments are so strong and beautiful. Without the artists educating the public, what would we have? A life without art would just be terrible. So I think it's so important that people keep coming through, and that the work can be explained and they can view it as much as possible. It's just really, really important. It's really a great idea that Kim came up with to get the galleries and the artists and the public together, because it's an educational situation, and artists get to communicate with one another and with the curators as well. And it's a pleasure to be with all these artists. I mean, some of these artists have been practicing their work for 50 years. So for me, it's an honor to be a part of this show.
Now that we've made it past Halloween and we're into November, Environment Canada is offering this long-term weather outlook for southwest Saskatchewan. Autumn in southwest Saskatchewan can vary, from being mild and dry through November to early introductions of winter. And for 2018, we've already experienced some snow in October. And now that we're into November, Environment Canada is calling for mild conditions to make an occasional appearance as we approach the winter season.
Let's say late fall and early winter, it shows a little bit warmer than normal. So my sense is that you're going to have to weather this kind of coolish weather. And when we get into November, December, now it's not going to return to the summer warmth. It's going to be relative compared to those particular months. But you won't see those 14, 15 degrees colder than normal. It might be, in fact, 2 or 3 or 4 degrees warmer than normal.
With weather patterns often changing quickly on the prairies, you're reminded to be aware of local weather reports and highway conditions if planning a road trip. And keep your snow brush handy for any unexpected snowfall. The normal high for this time of the year in southwest Saskatchewan is 4 degrees, with an overnight low of -6. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here at our studio by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com or follow us on a range of social media. And be sure to follow us daily online for the latest news from across southwest Saskatchewan and more at southwesttvnews.com. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.